This video made me visit the Australian government website voluntarily for the first time in my life. The essence of the Future Made in Australia policy is something that I have thought about for many years. Feels unreal to see it outlined in an official bill. I had no idea about it until this video for FFS. There you go. There you go. That's the message that you're supposed to get out of that video. Right there. That is the main message. The whole message is there is a new fight happening, guys. And this fight is winnable. And this fight could very easily be lost before it even began, which is creating that entire new green industry. This is the fight. Instead, you have the Australia Institute for its own nefarious, evil reasons sitting there trying to sink the Workers' Party that came up with the Future Made in Australia policy that is delivering it as we speak. But it is in its nascent stages. And if it had a few years to build itself, this is exactly the same thing with a bunch of these grand government policies. Grand government policies, yes, they're announced, then they're rolled out. Then a decade later, they start actually bearing fruit. This is what the Future Made in Australia policy would be like. You look at that a decade from now, this is going to be bringing huge rewards for this country, massive rewards. Just in terms of being like a good global citizen, isn't it an exciting thought that instead of just being exporters of coal, we're going to be exporters of hydrogen and renewables and electric car batteries? That will be our main exports with Future Made in Australia, along with supercomputers. This is big, big stuff. They never get any credit for it. Instead, they just get sat there. The whole point of that video is to sit there and say, no, they're not just as bad as each other. They're not just going to a race to the bottom. That is not what's happening. That is just a lie. That is just a straight up lie. That's the first part of that video. The second part of that video is, this is huge. What this guy's cottoned onto is massive. And it's a winnable fight. But instead, people just keep harking back like it's 1970s Australia. And that's the big fight, to nationalise the mines or whatever. Guys, it's not even on the table. It's not going to happen. You can have these bunch of independents that just tell you exactly what you want to hear, or you could get on board with what is truly exciting.